Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is Dick and Sharon and Nia, and we're here to talk to you about a play that we saw recently. The name of the play is The Talented Tenth. And The Talented Tenth is playing at the Los Angeles Center Theater. So we went to see this play, not really knowing very much about it. I was familiar with the term, the talented 10th, and I hadn't done any reading on it. I didn't look at any other reviews. The talented 10th, and I wanted to pull up on my phone because I want to be very exacting and specific. So it's a term that designated a leadership class of African Americans in the early 20th century. And I always thought of it as a term that was coined by W.E.B. DuBois, but actually it says that the term was actually created by white Northern philanthropists, even though it's primarily associated with W.E.B. Du Bois, who used it as a title of an influential essay published in 1903, and it appeared in a collection of essays that were published as a single piece, and the single piece is called The Negro Problem. So going in, I had a sense that W.E.B. Du Bois had something to do with this play. The play is set in it probably is set in late 1970s. And the reason I say that is because the stars of the play mention the civil rights movement. They were aware of the civil rights movement. They had seen Martin Luther King Jr. Speak. And so that would have been in the 60s. And I think they were in college in the 60s. The play takes place after they've graduated from college. They're all Howard University alumni, and they are now successful business people. So the play has a lot of small little acts, maybe 25. I have to admit that was a little bit distracting, but the messages were so clear for me. It looks like a play about a man who is struggling, maybe midlife. He's in his late 40s. It looks like a play that's about a man who's struggling with just having a midlife crisis. But in fact, I experienced it as social commentary, because throughout the play, throughout the dialogue, they're talking about what is the talented 10th, even though they're not using those words. They're talking about colorism. The actors and actresses, all of the actors are Black, but various, like most Black, when you get a bunch of Black people, Black African Americans together, you're going to get a whole rainbow of colors. And so that's what you experience in this play. And that is part of the story being that the African American experience is an experience of lots of different people trying to come out post-slavery, trying to come out of that, and in many cases, simply reinstituting or continuing to support the white structure, and it's internalized into the Black experience. So I don't know if either you want to talk more about that.
Well, I can say that it follows one character, a guy named Bernard Evans, who is a graduate of Howard, and he's given the charge that he's supposed to be one of these talented 10th, and he's supposed to work to benefit the community. And in some sense, he's done that by being a radio producer of Black radio. But then things get out of hand. For one thing, it looks like he may lose his job when the owner of the radios is going to sell it. Plus, there's the problem of some people find it hard to maintain a younger mistress and a wife. So he's confronted with issues and has to examine, did he really seek to benefit the community, or did he just stack up stuff? Because he's got a lot of stuff, he's got a lot of money, he's got a nice house, and so that was interesting. It was good to hear from Sharon about the colorism, because it's obvious on the cast that there's some of that going on. I mean, there's I don't know how much we give away the story, but anyway, that's a big piece of the story. Do you have stuff, Nia?
I do, yes. So this play started out really strong for me. It started out with a very strong indication of hinting at the talented tenth and what that might mean. I will admit I struggled to see what Sharon saw. I think that's mostly because I am not as familiar with the talented tenth. I am not as familiar with um, I mean, I'm aware of colorism from my own existence, but the things didn't stand out to me as much. I was also a little distracted by all of the little uh they were bigger than vignettes, the little scenes. They were kind of here, there, everywhere. Um some scenes that definitely could have been cut and probably should have been cut. It was ran a little bit long for me as well. But again, as always, these actors, this was a very well acted play. This team's chemistry is phenomenal. Everyone knew when to come out, when to start, when to stop. They were cutting each other off. Um, Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful acting. The stage was very interesting. Again, we've seen two other plays here, at least one other play, and a vastly different set than what we saw in that other show. Completely different. Um, Using clever use of the frames with the LED color lightings behind them to create sort of a glow in between the scenes, and you could kind of match the energy based on the color. Um, and then there was also I also caught so there was the main male actor, and as my dad mentioned, he had his wife and he also had a mistress. So you were sort of um, viewing the events going on from all three perspectives based on, but all looking at the same sort of life events that happening to the guy. I feel bad that I couldn't see what it is that Sharon saw. And like I said, it started out really strong, but um, I did not feel more educated about the talented tenth. I did not feel like I came away knowing more about the talented tenth or the movement or anything like that coming out of it. I did feel well. I felt reminded of the struggle of men and their many men struggle with emotional competency. That's not the right word. Emotional intelligence. That's the word. That I there was a lot of that throughout the play that I picked up on more than these undertones of the talented tenth. But like I said, still a very well acted play, wonderful set, a really great team that they had for this. Something I would recommend people see.
So what Nia was missing had more to do with her youth, and what Dick was missing had more to do with his race. I think that this play works very well in the Black community. It's really about the struggle of a Black man reaching midlife and trying to define for himself what does success look like. When he was a younger man, success for him looked like marrying a Black woman who almost looked white. That was a label of success in the Black community. And the talented tenth, when you look back in 1903, when W.E.B. DuBois wrote that, there was a whole movement for Black people to rise up, but there was the paper bag test and brown paper bag test. And so I'm about the color of a brown paper bag. So I'm sort of like right in the middle. If you're lighter than me, then you can pass and have all of the wonderful things in life that you could possibly have still within the constraints of living in a segregated, racist country. But if you were not, you couldn't pass that brown paper bag test, you're going to live a life of misery. And so there were subtle signals to that throughout the play and the changes. So now here he is 48 years old, 20 plus years after the civil rights movement, and he's getting involved with a young, very dark-skinned Black mistress who's younger and doesn't necessarily have the full appreciation of where he's coming from, what he really needs, nor does he really know what he really needs. So, and it's really, it's a commentary on, are Black people just simply trying to recreate what white people have done? Will that mean success for them? I mean, do we want Black and brown faces in high places, but no real systemic change in our systems? And I think we don't want that. And I think that this play is a demonstration of that.
Yeah, I'll pick up on the thing about it being, a midlife crisis. I mean, here's this guy, he's worked hard, he's a hard-charging guy, he's made a lot of money, he's got a very talented, highly educated wife, he's got 4 kids. You gather that he has a nice house in a fancy part of town. He has a golf club membership. He goes out with his Howard University buddies and they go golfing. He has the young, half his age mistress on the side, and he doesn't have a lot of happiness. He has all the things that when he got out of Howard University, he thought if he had those things, and that would be it. That would be the thing he would need. And he's finding out it's not so.
And not only that, is it all those things unfulfilling, he's also finding out that it's not stable, because he thought he had this great success, and now the radio station is being sold to a big conglomerate, and he's going to have to answer most likely to a young white professional.
Heaven forbid.
Heaven forbid. So that's The Talented 10th, and it's playing, as I said, at the Robey Theatre Company. And by the way, Ben Guillory is one of the co-founder, along with Danny Glover, of the Robey Theatre Company, and he's also plays a role in that. He has such a fabulous voice. It's at the Los Angeles Center Theater at 514 South Spring Street in Los Angeles through December the 10th. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. See you soon. We've been a busy little crew here.
Yeah.